Handle selfish people with 7 Stoic strategies. There are few trials in life as persistent and as testing as dealing with selfish people. Those who pursue their desires with little thought for the impact on others. They can provoke anger, drain your energy, and tempt you to stray from the virtues that define your character. But Stoicism offers a different path, not one of conflict, but of mastery, over yourself, your emotions, and the situation at hand. Let us explore 7 powerful strategies drawn from the wisdom of the Stoics that allow us to face selfishness without losing ourselves. 1. Master your reaction, the art of indifference. When confronted by selfish behavior, our first instinct is often frustration, even outrage. How dare they put their needs above the collective good? But here is the truth that the Stoics teach us. Their selfishness is not our burden to carry. What harms us is not their action, but our reaction to it. Epictetus reminds us, it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. The selfish person may act, but it is we who decide how much power their actions hold over us. To allow their behavior to stir anger or resentment within us is to hand over our peace of mind. Instead, practice the art of indifference, what the Stoics called apatheia. This is not apathy in the modern sense, but a calm detachment from things beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The next time you encounter selfishness, pause. Examine your feelings and remind yourself, their actions belong to them, your response belongs to you. Choose to remain steady, like a rock unmoved by the waves. This is not weakness, it is fortitude. And in your calm, you may find the clarity to address the situation with reason rather than emotion. 2. Lead by example, the power of virtue. Selfishness thrives in a world where virtue is abandoned. But as Stoics, we know that we cannot control others. We can only embody the principles we wish to see. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This strategy is not about passive acceptance. It is about active leadership. When faced with selfish people, resist the urge to mirror their behavior. Instead, hold fast to your own values of justice, temperance, and courage. Show them, not through words, but through action, that there is a better way to live. This does not mean enabling their selfishness or allowing them to take advantage of you. It means setting boundaries with calm conviction, guided by virtue rather than anger. By maintaining your integrity, you challenge them without conflict, planting a seed of reflection that may one day grow. Seneca reminds us, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. Sometimes, the greatest lesson you can teach a selfish person is the quiet, unshakable power of virtue in action. 3. Reframe the challenge. Turn obstacles into growth. The presence of selfish people in your life is not a curse. It is a test of your character, your patience, and your ability to grow stronger through adversity. The Stoics teach us that every challenge, no matter how frustrating or painful, holds within it the seeds of wisdom and growth. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The selfish person, with all their arrogance and disregard, is not your enemy. They are your training ground. Instead of seeing their behavior as a source of annoyance, view it as an opportunity to practice the virtues of tolerance, compassion, and self-restraint. Ask yourself, what is this person teaching me about myself? About my triggers, my reactions, my ability to remain calm under pressure? Reframing selfishness as a challenge allows us to transform what could be a destructive encounter into one of growth. By learning to navigate such behavior with wisdom and clarity, we prepare ourselves for far greater trials ahead. Seneca reminds us, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. The selfish person is not here to defeat you. They are here to sharpen you, and with every interaction you become a little stronger, a little more resilient, and a little closer to mastering yourself. In this way, the obstacle ceases to be a burden and becomes a stepping stone, one that elevates us above the fray and onto the path of true wisdom. This is how we turn the trials of life into triumphs of the soul. 4. Understand the source. Empathy is a tool for strength. Selfishness often arises from fear, insecurity, or ignorance, traits that cloud judgment and drive people to put their needs above others. As Stoics, we are not here to condemn, we are here to understand. For how can we confront what we do not comprehend? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This is not a call to excuse their behavior, but to recognize that selfishness is often a reflection of inner turmoil. Understanding this allows us to respond with empathy rather than hostility. Empathy does not mean tolerating harmful actions or sacrificing your boundaries. It means seeing the selfish person for what they truly are, a flawed human being, like all of us, struggling in their own way. By adopting this perspective, you free yourself from the emotional burden of resentment and approach the situation with a calm, reasoned mind. Seneca reminds us, treat your inferiors as you would wish your superiors to treat you. When selfishness provokes anger, let empathy soften your response. When it tempts you to retaliate, let wisdom remind you that stooping to their level achieves nothing. To understand the source of selfishness is to rise above it. It gives us the power to act, not out of frustration, but from a place of strength and clarity. And in doing so, we not only preserve our own peace, but potentially guide others, however subtly, toward a better path. 5. Detachment from expectations. Release the need for reciprocity. When dealing with selfish people, it is easy to fall into the trap of expecting them to behave according to our own values, to act with fairness, generosity, or consideration. But the Stoic wisdom teaches us that these expectations are the root of much suffering. When we cling to the hope that others will treat us as we treat them, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. Epictetus teaches, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that our peace of mind should not depend on the actions or attitudes of others. We must release the need for reciprocity. When someone behaves selfishly, we can choose to act with integrity, not because we expect something in return, but because it aligns with our values. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, "How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says, or does, or thinks." By detaching from the need for others to act in ways that satisfy our expectations, we remove their power over us. We act not in response to others' behavior, but in accordance with our own inner code. In this way, we free ourselves from the tyranny of external actions. We remain unaffected by selfishness because we are anchored in our own virtue. To give without expecting anything in return is one of the greatest exercises in Stoic strength. It requires no approval, no acknowledgement, only the quiet confidence of knowing that our actions are true to who we are, no matter how others respond. By embracing detachment from expectations, we rise above the turmoil that selfishness creates. Our peace is no longer a fragile thing, dependent on the behavior of others. Instead, it becomes an unshakable foundation, rooted in our ability to remain steadfast, regardless of what the world throws at us. 6. Lead by example. Show them a better way. Selfish people often act out of ignorance or fear, lacking the perspective to see beyond their own immediate desires. Instead of mirroring their behavior or confronting them with anger, lead with your actions. Demonstrate the virtues of generosity, patience, and integrity, not to change them, but to reinforce your own character. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. When you embody the principles of selflessness and discipline, you create a silent yet powerful standard that others may aspire to. This approach doesn't guarantee their behavior will change, but that's not the goal. The goal is to stay true to your values, to act in a way that brings peace to your own soul, regardless of their response. And in doing so, you rise above selfishness, proving that strength comes from within, not from controlling others. Let your actions teach. Let your example inspire. Whether they learn or not is out of your hands, but what's firmly in your control is your unwavering commitment to living with purpose and virtue. 7. Accept them without enabling them. One of the hardest lessons in dealing with selfish people is understanding that you cannot change them, but you can change how you respond. Accept their nature without letting it compromise your boundaries or values. This isn't about condoning their behavior, it's about refusing to let their actions disrupt your peace. Epictetus teaches us, remember, it is not he who gives insult that affronts, but the view we take of it as insulting. Recognize their selfishness for what it is, a reflection of their own struggles or limitations, not a personal attack. At the same time, don't enable their behavior. Hold firm to your boundaries and make it clear that while you understand their flaws, you won't allow them to manipulate or take advantage of you. This balance of acceptance and assertiveness lets you remain in control of your own life, unshaken by their actions. By accepting without enabling, you preserve your energy, protect your integrity, and show them, without words, that selfishness holds no power over a disciplined mind. The Stoic way forward. Handling selfish people is not about changing them. It is about remaining steadfast in who we are. We are not here to control the behavior of others, but to master our own. And in that mastery lies our greatest strength. Through indifference, we free ourselves from their hold on our emotions. Through virtue, we rise above their pettiness and inspire something greater. Together, these strategies transform what could be a source of anger into an opportunity for growth. Selfish people will always exist, but they do not have to define us. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. We are not here to fight them, we are here to overcome ourselves, to strive for self-control, to embody fortitude, to walk the path of wisdom, no matter the trials before us. This is the Stoic way, and it is a way worth walking.